I don't know if I know anything about the first generation of K-pop. I'm trying to deepen my K-pop knowledge as a way to improve these videos, and by the end of it all, inspire you to achieve your full potential as well. So, this is what we're gonna do. We are going to be taking a deep dive into the history of every single K-pop generation, checking out some of the most notable groups from the past to the present, and truly appreciate some iconic groups and songs that paved the way for what K-pop is today. And for that, I think we'll need this time machine on our hands. Alright, take me away, Vince Ellie.
Okay, going to 1992.
Seo Taiji Boys debuted in 1992 and is regarded by many as one of the pioneers in K-pop. But scratch that. Vince Ellie, take me back even further.
Okay.
Seo Taiji just dropped out of both high school and a rock band called SHINHWA, a groundbreaking Korean rock band that is touted as the godfather of Korean rock music. Seo Taiji was already familiar with becoming an innovator, and soon after he discovered the emerging American hip-hop scene, he was inspired to create music in that same wavelength. Yes, the roots of K-pop were hip-hop. I'm talking NWA, Public Enemy, music that sounds like
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Crazy how things evolve. At the time, H.O.T and ballad music were the mainstream in South Korea. No one even knew what the term hip-hop was over there. And so, Seo Taiji went on to form a Korean hip-hop trio and scouted Yang Yeon-seok. At first, just to learn how to dance, but then decided he'd be a good addition to the group, as well as Lee Juno. This led to their debut release of 1992's I Know, a hip-hop fused dance pop record that still holds up till this day.
Ignore me.
Sure thing. An instantly memorable track that introduced the concept of Western fashion and choreography to the South Korean public. Their debut took place at an NBC talent show, where they got absolutely zero love from the jury. But it certainly impressed the public, as they sold 1.8 million album copies in South Korea alone, asserting their dominance over the music industry for the next couple of years. Any house song from their second release is a more gritty rap record that even includes this thing. Damn, their mouth game must be crazy. Come Back Home is a menacing boom bap hip hop track that feels like a more dark rendition of the G-funk genre. A more modern comparison to this is Young Posse's XXL. As they kept on selling millions and millions of albums, Seo Taiji and his boys weren't afraid to go against the grain either. 1993's Classroom Idea criticizes the South Korean education system with its huge restriction on the freedom of the youth, while 1995's Regret of the Times vows the public to be more authentic to themselves and to not be afraid of challenging social norms, something that is still very relevant in today's society. Both of these songs got banned. Unlucky, my G. If you want to start your villain arc, there's a fitness mat here. But it didn't stop this group from continuing to inspire millions of people, up until their retirement in 1996. Seo Taiji Boys embodied some of the core elements of what K-pop has evolved to today, from the Western influence music, to their choreographies, and even to their fashion style.
Nice. So, I guess there wasn't any trainee system back then, right?
Not yet there wasn't, since after studying their success, the CEO of the upcoming label SM Entertainment, Lee Soo-man, soon formed what's referred to as an idol factory, a trainee system where idols were made. From the music they release, the clothes they wear, and even their personalities were all taken care of by their CEO, artificializing the creation of music. This led to what most people refer to as the first ever K-pop idol group in 1996. Vince Ellie, let's go check out H.O.T, shall we?
Okay, going to 1996.
This is H.O.T, a 5-member boy group that debuted with the album We Hate All Kinds of Violence. The album was a commercial success, with over 1.5 million copies sold, as their lead single Descent of Warriors is a banger of a title track. I'm seeing hints of A Tribe Called Quest, sprinkled in with a spine-chilling hook refrain as they highlight the consequences of the school bullying problem in South Korea. They really do seem to hate school there, don't they? Let's take a shot every time a group talks about school.
Oh, wait.
Their second single, Candy, has become a K-pop classic, with this joyous Christmas soundscape. Their next album, Wolf and Sheep, came with more dance records that certainly weren't catered towards my taste. Full of Happiness includes this notoriously popular orchestral hit from the 90s. I'm talking about this. That sound just takes me back to a time where I wasn't even alive. the hell am I talking about? Yet again, just off the first week alone, this record sold over 1 million copies, and so does their next comeback, Resurrection. The lead single, Hope, is definitely a favorite of mine. A feel-good anthemic track with a very heartfelt message behind it, encouraging us to come together as one and appreciate the beautiness that life brings. This was the first group that started the so-called Hallyu, or Korean Wave, which is a phenomenon that caused the culture of South Korea to expand worldwide, as this group performed in front of a crowd of 13,000 people in China.
So H.O.T set out the blueprint for what made a successful K-pop boy group. Wait, but what about the girl groups?
Don't you worry, my friend. Vince Ellie, let's take him back to 1997.
Okay then, 1997.
Here is the first ever K-pop girl group, SM Entertainment's S.E.S. Dubbed as the female counterpart to H.O.T, S.E.S adopted a more innocent concept with a ton of love songs early in their discography. Taking from the more soft 90s Western R&B, they debuted with the track 'Cause I'm Your Girl, a song that includes a K-pop trope that was very popular in the 90s, a random dude rapping in the middle. Yeah, MC Juz, I'm a man. Yo, will you be my boo? This song quickly became an anthem for girls that are falling in love, as the album successfully sold 650,000 copies. 1998's 너를 사랑해 still keeps up that pure image with a little more soul to it, and the same goes for 2001's Just in Love. Dreams Come True slowly became one of S.E.S's most popular tracks, as multiple groups ahead of them made performance covers of the song, aespa even making their own rendition of it for their second mini-album, Girls. This group was very consistent with their soft, mellow soundscape early on in their career, and that all changed with 2002's Choose My Life, You. The second single, Just a Feeling, has slowly become a favorite of mine, with a more lively, joyous soundscape. You may recognize this record from a New Jeans' Henny interview from a while back.
Just a feeling, 느낀 그대로 많이 think about.
I just fell in love with the soulfulness of this record, a real treat to listen to, as S.E.S cemented themselves into the history books as the first ever K-pop girl group. And of course, success always comes with competition. And so, Vince Ellie, take me to... Fin.K.L debuted in 1998 with their album Blue Rain, that includes this classic record called To My Boyfriend. This is a pounding, joyful song that is really captivating with those soulful vocals. I have a smile on my face every time this song pops on. The self-titled Blue Rain is another single from their debut, and definitely steers away from the more pop-centric tracks of S.E.S, honing in on an R&B-fused ballad track with some really fiery vocals on here. Fin.K.L's appeal really comes from their powerful vocals. There is just so much emotion oozing from their vocal cords, as this debut sold 291,000 copies. While S.E.S was focused on more ethereal, fairy-like soundscapes, Fin.K.L honed in on the more cute girl next door aesthetic and set up a blueprint for some more prominent girl groups in the future. But let's jump around the first generation for a sec. Let's check out some notable songs from different pioneering soloists.
Are you talking about 2003?
Oh, that's correct, Vince Ellie. Take me to... Fin.K.L member Hyori released a 2003 record 10 Minutes, very reminiscent of hits from Aaliyah and the Spice Girls with some pounding percussions on this really authoritative instrumental. A pioneering record for pushing the boundaries of sexiness in South Korea, and it was done really freaking well on this track. But of course, we can't talk more about mature concepts without at least going over the 2000 release by Park Jiyoon, Coming of Age Ceremony. On a serious note, as much as this record is a classic, Park Jiyoon, at the time of release, was only 18. Having her perform such a provocative song at such a young age was definitely inappropriate. This soon led to some nasty rumors about her that affected her mental health. All of us need to remember that these idols are just like us, humans. Let's treat these idols the same way we like ourselves to be treated.
Hey Juz, look, I get that K-pop music is heavily influenced by the West, and I've even gathered some new songs on my playlist as well. But how did this fandom culture come along? Was there a queen of K-pop back then? Oh, and surely, one group back then must have been a hot mess, right?
Going to 1997.
Baby V.O.X, a 5-member girl group that debuted in 1997 with the lead single titled Haircut. Hi, yeah, I'd like to report a domestic violence case. This debut tanked in the charts, as the edgier concept didn't seem to stick with the South Korean public. Personally, I thought this was a nice way to make themselves stand out from S.E.S and Fin.K.L, with some really entertaining lyrics about her cutting off her hair, cause she hates her man. Then, by the end of it, regretting everything, not cause she still likes the dude, but cause she cut her hair off, lol. This more dark R&B soundscape didn't make a return for 1998's Ya Ya Ya. This title track adapted a more trendy, cutesy concept that personally comes off pretty generic. It don't matter though, as this record sold a little better than their previous one. By the end of this comeback, the group had already changed 3 out of their 5 original members. Why, you may ask? I don't know why I'm so close to the camera. Cha Yu-mi was replaced by Kan Mi-yeon as a result of her health problems. Jung Hyun-jun and Jung Si-eun had a little argument and left the group, being replaced by Shin Min-jin and Lee-guy. And then Lee-guy apparently faked her age and said she was 20, when in fact she was a 30-year-old ballad singer. Yeah, the industry hates anyone over the age of 21, so goodbye. She was then replaced by Yoon Eun-hae. Baby V.O.X kept on releasing music, with popular lead singles such as 1998's Get Up and 2002's Coincidence, a track that was re-released for the 2002 World Cup. Baby V.O.X later tried to break into the Western market, and I just have to highlight this track called Ecstasy, who features none other than Tupac? Yes, the producers decided it'd be a good idea to use a random Tupac verse that he did in the prison cell, without asking for a licensing permission. They got sued later on that year. While not really having the greatest track record, Baby V.O.X was later recognized as a pioneer for the thriving girl crush concepts in the later generations.
Wow, what a story that was. But you still haven't gone over much of the fandom culture yet from the first gen.
Don't worry, mate. Let me introduce you to— Don't cut me off, Vince! Okay. Let me introduce you
Let's
to—
go.
Oh, come on! 1997 also had the group SHINHWA. I have no idea how to pronounce this in English, someone help me out, which in German means 6 crystals, and has 4 members in their group. This group is credited with pioneering the idol and fandom culture, as they were the first to innovate by using the color yellow as a representation of the group. As for their music, their debut was the track School Anthem, that includes more criticism from the education system. I'm depressed. This track sounds like it came from the depths of hell, with a more heavy metal soundscape with a rallying chorus. The South Korean public ate this up, with an unofficial sales count for the album being around 1.8 million copies. 1998's Road Fighter is a more dance-eccentric track that has a similar rallying refrain to it. Again, it's not really my cup of tea, it feels a little claustrophobic to me. Couple is definitely more my style though, with a more stripped-back R&B production. That hook is infectious, bro. SHINHWA and H.O.T were huge rivals of each other, with these groups even being credited for the creation of fan clubs in order for their group to win a music show award. But none of the boy groups have really pulled off a more mature concept, and so I'm thinking
1998.
SHINHWA is the second boy group coming out of SM Entertainment, debuted in 1998 with Isha Isha, a feel-good tropical dance track that is really reminiscent of H.O.T's Candy in terms of just the playfulness of the whole record. The debut album didn't really do too well, with only 85,000 copies sold. It wasn't really until they honed in on their more edgier concept that they received commercial success, one example being 2001's Wild Eyes, a groovy head-bopping Latin-fused R&B record, and is definitely for the ladies who enjoy a more masculine, mature aesthetic. Wee, I'm sweated. The orchestric elements here really enhances the virility of this track. Look, it's so goddamn masculine, I might legit turn gay for a second. 2002's Perfect Man is a hard-hitting classic orchestral R&B record from the 2000s that is executed very well. The albums that these 2 singles were tied to both sold around 400,000 copies. SHINHWA was one of the first K-pop boy groups to hone in on their masculine appeal, and it definitely paid off. Unfortunately for them, however, they weren't awarded the legendary status of being named the nation's idol. Vince Ellie, who does that belong to?
G.O.D.
g.o.d, an acronym for Groove Overdose, has been touted as the nation's idol, with multiple of their releases selling over 1 million copies. It's not hard to see why, as their music really appeals to a broad audience, thanks to the relatability in their lyrics. Their debut, To Mother, is a very heartfelt personal story portraying the hardships they went through with their mother. Chutbyeor Hana inspires us to make a change in our lives and strive to become better. And Love and Memory is about cherishing some precious memories of ours that we could never get back. 2001's Road is a revelation on on whether or not they're heading in the right direction for life, questioning it, but still, they choose to continue fighting on. A widespread relatable message that captured many listeners and has since been considered a classic in South Korea. They pretty much took me to church with the final sequence. The song was so damn good, they decided to make a remake of it in 2014 that includes IU, with an even more grandiose soundscape that's definitely worth checking out. g.o.d's concept was touted as a more boys next door aesthetic, with music that just heals the mind and body of the listener. I would have considered this group a real favorite of mine from this generation. That was until I came across the legendary soloist. Vince Ellie, take me back to 2000.
Okay, going to 2000.
BoA debuted in 2000 under SM Entertainment, only being 13 years old at the time. With 2 years of training under her belt, her debut album ID Peace Be was released, that includes a slightly haunting but majestic R&B title track of the same name, adding a few orchestral elements, and BoA's debut takes you to an otherworldly soundscape. This is gonna be a running theme for her music, but for now, this album only saw moderate success when it was released, with 156,000 copies being sold. The quote-unquote queen of K-pop was never really crowned that moniker until she pioneered the Korean wave across the ocean to Japan. BoA made the big decision to drop out of school and release Listen to My Heart, the album that solidified her status as the queen of K-pop. Yes, okay, this is a Japanese release, I know, just Brody chill. The title track includes some yearning vocals on top of a chunky electric bass that earned her a million certification plaque for selling 1 million copies of this album. The South Korean public now started to notice her, and with her second Korean studio album, number 1, BoA showcased her truly show-stopping vocals and sold 540,000 copies. BoA and her team really know how to elevate you into an otherworldly atmosphere. Just listen to this hook. This song is a classic, man, and we're not even done yet. Her third studio album gets even better than this, as singles Milky Way and Atlantis Princess are some of the best songs I've heard so far from this generation. Both these tracks could turn a depressed guy into a man with the biggest smile in this world. Don't you agree, Vince Ellie?
I'm happy now.
He agrees.
So I guess BoA paved the way for other Korean acts to succeed in other countries, and continued to spread the Korean culture worldwide.
Wow, I can't believe we just learned all that, Vince.
Me too.
Seo Taiji and his boys brought the Western influence into K-pop.
Yes.
H.O.T created a blueprint for K-pop boy groups alike.
Yes.
And I guess BoA is the GOAT.
Yes.
Alright, I guess it's always been a good idea to stay curious of the unknown. Remember, we're not just students until we finish our education. We're students for life. Hey, don't mind me. I'm just gonna be checking out the second generation with Vince Ellie. So, I guess, Vince, take me to 2003.
Going to 2003. We gon' make it.